Welcome back, everybody. My name again is Ash, and I'm talking to you from Mooloolaba Beach. Didn't get to play beach volleyball down there this morning. There's a surf carnival and a marathon as well, two events. So can't get to the courts, and here I am at home on a Saturday morning recording this for you. Thought I'd start with a story. This part of the rapid onboarding experience, we're going to talk about connecting the execution and daily work to the strategy and the targets that you're trying to achieve as a company. So I just want to share a story. So for 20 years or so, I've been flying every week to work or to clients or projects until COVID-19. And I started like everyone else, frequent flyer points, wanting to sit at the front of the airplane, upgrade to business, be in the first row or the second row of economy, and surrounded by other people doing similar and in the routine of travel. And then I'm a bit tall, so after time, I started asking for the exit rows. So instead of trying to upgrade to business, I would make sure I'm sitting in the two exit rows in the middle of the airplane. And I discovered something magic there. That's where all the business owners like to sit, mid-market companies, small companies, and great conversations across flights to the US and around Europe and Asia and all over Australia, of course. And in all those conversations, I would get into this pattern of asking, hey, tell me about the business and where do you see yourself in 3 years from now? And I've never met a business owner that doesn't have a plan or some sort of vision for the company. Like, they never answer the question going, Ash, I don't know, I just got this company and I got no idea what I'm doing with it. Everyone can articulate, this is where I'd like to be in 3 years from now. I'm not sure about this or that, but this is what we'd like to do and this is what we're working on. And then when you ask them, how did the last 3 years go? You get this sort of deflation takes over. And if you're on an aeroplane, they might order a whiskey and down it before they continue the conversation. And there's this frustration at not achieving what we set out to achieve. And I cannot tell you how many conversations I've had like that. And then in the R&D preparing Stratup, talking to 500 companies and going deep on workshops and so forth, it is such a systemic problem. And to my mind, comes back to we've been running companies the same way for 30 years. And it's, top down and it's static and management team are sort of hanging onto the plans, particularly my generation. And as the new generation's coming through, they can't really see the context. They're not motivated. Our generation, blaming the millennials. Millennials can't understand why we're not actually opening up and involving them in the direction of the company. So with that in mind, that is the essence of Stratup, right? It's changing the last 30, 50 years, the way companies have been run since, technology's been in play and globalization and things have been more progressive. We just haven't really changed how we engage from senior management to mid-management team leaders, or even how a business owner sort of builds up their leadership team over time and engages the whole company so that everyone's moving in the same direction really, really quickly. And it becomes more than just a job for the employees. So, look, congratulations for doing this. You're not just learning how to use an app. The point of the story is you're learning this is a new way to think, and it's a new way to run a company. And some people will master it in just days and maybe 2-3 weeks, and others will take a few months or 6 months. It's okay. Just go at your own pace. The more you throw yourself into it, the more you'll start to see and understand. So, as I mentioned on one of the flip chart videos, this is not about having access to everything so you can, call people out and command and control and micromanage every single task. This is about stepping back and freeing the organization to work transparently together in one workspace. So everything from strategy to planning to projects, tasks, risks, meetings, it's all in one workspace. And it's all connected because it's one user experience. You're not jumping across different apps. So as a leader, you've got to use that power or opportunity in a positive way, as do the employees. It goes both ways. So for the leader, being able to dive in and ask a question and give support and show that you're interested in the work taking place, Stratup gives you that opportunity, right? You get to lead by example, be proactive, not wait for things to get off track and have a problem. You can dive in and help. And likewise, the employees need to behave well too, right? So if you're making the company's plans and progress transparent and you're involving people in a transparent way and giving them the chance to contribute across functions and departments and beyond the role of their job, which is where you capture the hearts and minds of people. It's really important. Don't be afraid of that. But also the employees need to embrace that progressiveness as well from the leaders and not take advantage of it, because it's so easy to be the armchair critic and to comment and criticize and get into that sort of culture and behavior. My experience with it is people behave well and they embrace it positively with positive leadership. And if you really do have the dissenters, you're probably going to find out quicker, and that's not such a bad thing either, right? So wouldn't be afraid of it. And I think both leaders and team leaders and people in teams really need to grab the opportunity to work together and recognize that both are on a learning journey, and it'll evolve over time, the planning and the execution. But in StratApp, that learning curve is so much quicker and the clarity is there that you really do get to execute your plan. So if your vision there for 3 years, what you're trying to do, it'll get sharper and sharper, it'll change over time, but your learning curve and execution is like nothing before. And they're the testimonials we get back from the clients. Just they can't believe that that the company's running the way it's running now, just would not have believed it's possible. And it's hard for us to explain it until you're into it and then you're telling us about it. So that's the context. Today we're going to connect the daily work to the strategy and the plan. So let me share my screen and I'll grab that one there. And I'll have another sip of Colombian coffee. Hello to all my friends in Colombia and many Colombians that are living in Australia and Barcelona that I've met over the last few years. So here we are. You remember we're on our strategy page and we laid out the strategy as a tree. And for the purpose of training, we created this have more fun goal, which we said to do that, we're going to do two things. We're going to throw lots of parties and of course hire more Australians, I think was the other one, right? And then if we go to the dashboard, you can see on the dashboard we said, right now this quarter, pointing to that goal to throw lots of parties, we're going to make sure this quarter we throw a mega party, and we determine two measures for knowing whether that we've achieved that objective, right? Have we succeeded? Tangible measures. So, and we did attendees and noise complaints. The party is going to be in Australia. Conservative Australia, Queensland, even more conservative in the north where I am, this beautiful beach. So now let's open up the throw a mega party. And now all the conversations will be here and any meetings, files, links, and we can add tasks. But what we're going to do in this example is we're going to add a workboard, a project workboard, to actually run the process of organizing the party, right? So we'll go organize the mega party. So that's what this project workboard is going to be. And we could do related lists or Kanban lists. So I'll do Kanban, folks understand that. Actually, for this case, I'll show you both, right? So Kanban would be something like this, right? To do, doing, nearly done, has blockers, love that American expression, and then done, and you might have, if you want to put them somewhere, all the cancel things you decide not to do. So in a Kanban workboard, the tasks move from left to right as you progress, right, on the project, and then you can come in here and see everything going on. So if I add a task, I could say, find a venue. Notice I'm keeping the verb noun construct and keeping the English in plain English, right? So, and as we're doing it, we can say, right, we're doing this now and it's nearly done, or if we've got a blocker, we can put it here. And in one click, I can open this up and I can be collaborating with my colleagues. I could tag folks in this conversation and then go, does anyone, so if I had that name, right, only myself is going to be on this. So but if, let's say there's other people in the org, I could tag Mary. Do you know any good venues? Right, and I'll mark that as a question. You can see I've got the little pop-ups. I can request a decision from Mary for whatever the context, but this is clearly a question, so I'll just mark it as a question. And then when Mary replies, she'll come in here and reply, and it would be her writing back saying, please see attached, and she could insert an image or paste an image in here or file or whatever, right? So, and then you get the nested conversation and her reply, which would come from Mary rather than Ash, of course. Okay, so there we got that task, find a venue. And I could actually send that to my workspace, so my private workspace, which I'll show you on this call. So let's say I'd like to work on that tomorrow. So it's shot down to my private workspace. So even though I'm working in here with my colleagues, I've actually marked that one to go to my private workspace. One a really neat trick inside StratUp. Okay, so that's the Kanban style. The other one you could do is related lists. So you put the tasks that are related on the one list. And for a party, that's probably more realistic, right? So you'd probably say all the venue related tasks. We'll put that guy back there. And then here you might have entertainment. And then we've got catering. And what else? Food, entertainment, catering, and invitations would be another one, right? So might put that over the left, and we'll do the venue first, invitations, right? And then you mark all the tasks, right? So find a venue, and you might have organize insurance, select the band, find some clowns. Who doesn't love clowns at a party, right? So you get the idea, right? So this would be building it as a related list. And then as you're going through and completing the task, you can say, right, this is achieved. Might have marked it important. I'm the owner. I could also send it to my workspace. And of course, you can create labels that go across the workboard, right? So you might have something like this, waiting. So you can see I use that all the time, right? Waiting on others as a black label. So there you go. So if it was completed, you wouldn't be waiting on others. But let's say if you didn't want to, you can undo the label and then say it's achieved and tick. So we're done. So you can see this task is done and this one's not. Okay, so I'll just also go back to select the band. And I can say here on the right, note that please see attached several band options. So anyone who's a member of this workboard, right, or who would be then a member of this task, would receive a notification to have a look at those options and participate in the conversation. So if we're getting together on this task here to select the band, perhaps we want to have a meeting on that task, so we'll create a meeting note, and I'll just create a meeting note here and review the list of bands. So you'll notice already the user experience is the same and it's easy. Okay, so that's why it's not a big training program to roll out StratUp. So you've seen strategy goal, sub goal, objective, workboard, task. This is a meeting hanging off the task, and you'll notice the UX user experience was consistent. So it's easy. It's all the same as you move through the app. And then and then you can add an agenda here. So go through the list. So you can prepare the meeting beforehand, right? So people come prepared. So we're going to go through the list, vote on top 3, decide. And and then you can say here the objective of the purpose of the meeting is to decide on which band. So people know before they're coming, what it is they're going to be doing in the meeting. And if we're running the meeting, we can time it and say, hey, we've spent so long on this agenda item, and then we move on to the next one. Right, so we just keep track that the meeting, we're spending the time where we thought we would. We've got 45 minutes and we're just tracking our time through the meeting. And if you don't want to do that, you can just run the clock at the top level and hide these sub clocks here as you're moving through. Then when you're having the actual meeting, well, before you get there, you can do your private notes. So preparing for a meeting, really important, right? So here we go. We're going to say, I really like, I think we should have rock and roll and no jazz. That's going to be my private notes. And then when we're collaborating with the others, we can have the live meeting notes here. So let's vote. Let's vote now. I'm gonna make that live, and I'll put it at the top just for my own view. So the attendees of the meeting can't see my private notes, and I can't see theirs. But this is live collaboration whilst the meeting is active. So throughout StratUp, anything that's got a few rich features, a little bit tricky, you'll see a video explaining you how it works, and also a help tip overlay. So remember, the help tip overlay is still used in gaming, and tech companies get a bit lazy with it. We've done it. So You just hit that and it'll quickly give you a summary of what you can do and what you can't do on each of the cards. So it's super quick. So it saves you going to knowledge bases, which has become the trend. We have a knowledge base. Eat your heart out. I'll show you that later as part of the this rapid onboarding experience. Okay, so now you can see here the source of this meeting, which I could change if I wanted to because I'm the owner. The source of the meeting is that task to select the band, which is part of the project workboard, right? So everything's got context. So maybe when you go to meetings 10 times a day, you pick up actions, right? So I could, in this meeting, we could just capture all the actions in the meeting. Everyone can see it. You've got live meeting notes. And I could say here for the meeting, send that rock band name to Julie. And let's say that's going to be due. I'll do that today on Saturday. I'll save it, and not everyone needs to receive notifications when I'm doing that, or so I don't need to copy them onto it. I'll just get it done, and I'll save this, and I'm ready to add more actions to the meeting. And any social conversations, so you don't have to be in another app. So in the middle of the meeting, you've got live meeting notes running down the middle. You can have your social conversations taking place on the right. And if someone's talking too much, every meeting needs this. We have the anonymous gavel. Makes a great sound, which I should turn the volume up so you could hear it. My apologies. And you can share the love or applaud, share the love. This all that runs live through the different participants. You see I broke the gavel. If you hit it too many times, it breaks. If you're precious as the meeting owner, you can mute it or turn it off. And it sounds just like a gavel. So it's anonymous if there's more than two in the meeting, of course. Keep that in mind. And it happens to me all the time. I don't know why. Development team, projects, marketing, they're always, I'm talking and they're hitting the gavel. It's good fun and it's a gentle reminder to move on, which I'll do now. Okay, so we've added our tasks, meeting, everything else. So let me just jump out of all this and I'll go to, so I'm just leaving that open, the meeting note there, and I've just opened a new tab. And you can see now in my private workspace, you can see that meeting note, the action from that meeting has appeared on my workspace. Due today, send the rock band to Julie, band name to Julie. Now I might get it done here, can go earlier or later, doesn't change the due date. This is my private workspace. So here I might also, anything I add here is confidential to me. So I might have a, you know, I'm gonna, just for fun, creating a task, go home early. Might do it every day. And I can order my own day here. And in reality, this fills up because you're taking tasks come from everything you're attending. So strategy, targets, projects, meetings comes automatically to your workspace. And you can plan your own day and add your own tasks here. So anything you add here is confidential. So if you have to open it, and you can change the you can change this back to restricted if you want others to see it. And then you've got 4 levels of security, which you'll learn about. And you can add other people to collaborate even if it's confidential, right? And it's on your workspace. So your private workspace. So what happens to me is my week fills up, so many things coming from different places. And when you look at a task sometimes you go, man, I don't even know what that is. And you open it. So all the conversations, everything going on with this task. And you can see, okay, it came from that meeting. I vaguely remember going to that meeting. One click, I'm back in the meeting. And there's everything to do with the meeting, right? Still running in this case. I'll just stop it. And I can see the notes, prep notes, everything taking place. And then if you have wondering why am I doing the meeting in the first place? Well, it belongs to this task here that we've got to select a band. And why are we doing that? Well, it's because we're throwing this mega party. We've got this project running to throw the mega party, and I can see all the status. Okay. And then if I click here, I'll see that that mega party belongs to this objective we've got for this quarter to throw a mega party, and it's on track because our key results are on track. We move these along. And why are we doing this objective this quarter? Well, we've got a strategic goal, sub-goal, to throw lots of parties. And there it is. And notice the user experience, consistent all the way through. You're not context switching or having a UX change. And then why do we have this sub-goal? Well, we've got this overall goal to have more fun in this company. It's just an example, right, for the purpose of training. So what I've shown you there is how in a few seconds we went from workspace all the way up to strategy. And you can go the other way as well. Now, in reality, in StratApp, you don't have to do all this clicking. I'm just demonstrating how the app ties strategy and objectives to the work taking place to execute them. And this is the power and the magic of the app, right? So you haven't got leaders on pen and paper or looking at a PowerPoint deck, and then team leaders trying to put something together, and then teams working on tasks, and everything's disconnected, and we're all on different places, and all the noise from chat channels, right? We don't have that. Here, it's all organized around the work, including the conversations are organized around the work, which is what I'm going to show you next. So first of all, we'll go down the tree just to recap, right? So we have this strategic goal to have more fun, breaks down to these two sub-goals. Remember to hire more Aussies, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. And if I open up this sub-goal, you can see hanging off that, we've got this objective to throw the party, which is on the dashboard page. And below that, we've got this workboard, right, where we're going to organize that mega party. And I can just keep going down, right? I won't drag you through it. Righto, so let's just jump out of there. So in StratApp, you do have the notifications, like this, pages of notifications, just like you would in social apps, Slack and Teams, eat your heart out. So this all fills up as you go on, right? So you still have that so you don't miss anything. But in StratApp, that's not how you work, because the whole idea is to reduce noise and to take you straight to what's important. So when you open the app, the default page is this one, and it's organized around, are there any replies to something you've done? And you can see I've replied to myself, so that's showing. And the conversations by time and by context and by your role and the type of conversation are all organized for you. So you don't go clicking through channels. The social is organized around the work. And once you discover this, you'll never go back to using chat channels, I promise you. And so we still use, so when we don't use Teams or Slack, we use WhatsApp in the company, right? We have a chat channel in the company for that, a couple of different ones. And the only things we put on those channels are things like, anyone want to go to drinks on Friday? Hey, I'm running late. Can you cover me for this next meeting? Look, something's wrong with your calendar. Can you do that? Just random stuff, right? Like you would in an open plan office. And I think that's how you should think of chat channels, right? It's just, and in Teams, it's called Teams, right? So you might have one for your marketing team, one for your sales team, one for your exec team. It's just random chat. And I really encourage you not to put work into the random chat. And it takes a little bit of discipline, but the moment you do it, all the benefits I talked about on the flip chart around speed, acceleration, decision making, being able to go back and find things, having the full history, and when people you recruit new leaders to come into the company, the onboarding time of a leader or an employee is like a fifth of what it is now for most companies. You're effective within a week or two instead of that sort of 2 or 3 months that it typically takes. And then for leaders, you're increasing the probability of success. Bear in mind that statistic, right? 67% fail as leaders coming into a new role, changing companies normally. That's statistics are changing companies. So to improve the probability of that not happening, because the impact is huge, not just financially, but it impacts other people that they're coming in to oversee and lead, right? So changing leaders all the time has a huge impact. StratApp will solve that for you, right? And it's the big part of it is having the conversations around the work. So when you come in to lead or take over a team or replace someone who's away or pick up some work to help with the load, you've got everything at your fingertips and all the conversations are organized around the work. And in this case, you can see, and if I select all, you'll see any other posts we did just during the demo, right? They're all going to come up. So there's a conversation around finding the venue, and there's a conversation around selecting the band. And I don't have to go clicking through the app to go to it. I can just, say thanks or reply or ask another question or make a disagree or decision right here and then. And if I'm not sure what's going on, I need more context, I can just go to the source, and there I am at that source. Everything's at my fingertips. Everything happening with that task is right there, and I can see the context of it. It belongs to this workboard to have a mega party. And that's that concept of hierarchy, which I'll talk about in a moment. But that the fact that you can build hierarchy of content, showed you on the flip chart, is really powerful in StratUp. But right now, I just want you to understand that you can come to work, and this is my day, right? I go, right, 24 hours, leave it all on. I'll just start. Has anyone asked any questions or requested a decision or approval? That's where I start. And normally a few things will pop up there because we've got plenty of people on the app and we're running the company and we're in 4 different countries. And I'm just bang, responding immediately to those things. And then after that, I might just select them all and open up another column of results. And even then you can go filter it and drill down, right? So once you get really busy in the app, you can use all this power and the feedback is it saves people a half a day a week minimum, right? At all levels in the company. So you've got no more internal email. So make sure people are putting the conversations and the content into where it belongs in StratUp. And you're not going through chat channels, and your conversations are organized around the work. Plus, you can prioritize where you want to start. So for me, it's always typically around product, and then I'll go back to strategy and OKRs, and then just pick up everything else. That's my order. But it's up to you how you run that. So let me just see if there's anything else I'm supposed to show. Yes, there is. So on the list, so once you're up and running here and you've added some colleagues and hopefully you're doing this rapid onboarding experience with a few other people in the same org instead of all separate orgs, so you can start collaborating together. And even this dummy content, right? You can just cancel it later, but just have it there for now, build out the same thing so you can play around inside that and then just cancel it later. So once you've got some colleagues and you're up and running, what we recommend you do is you go to the App Store or the Play Store and install the mobile app for StratUp, which is super powerful. All of this functionality is in your pocket then, including the strategy tree. It's a indented structure, but it's the same thing. All of this is in your pocket. And then you come here to your avatar and then just go down and turn off the email notifications. So when you get email notifications, it'll actually give you the links to the mobile app and recommend that you turn them off. So if you're a consultant and therefore you might be a member of multiple StratUp orgs, you're a guest member of others and you've got your own org, what you typically do is turn off email for your own org and make sure the mobile app you logged into your org, and then leave the email notifications on for where you're a guest of all the other orgs. So guys, I'm back. I just had to get another Colombian coffee. 7 a day. I always say to people, I only have one. They go, oh, that's good. One per hour, right? So where were we? So just to wrap, so a couple of things to show you to finish up. So we've got the help tip overlays all through the app. So you'll also find them at a page level. So that's super helpful. Save you running off to help articles. And if I take you to settings, so I'm clicking on the avatar, going to settings, and then you'll see these pages each have a video, particularly the Teams page, just showing you how it all works. So super easy. And then when you open most cards or workboards, there's an overlay, and there's no video here because it's really easy. You don't need anything else. Also, if I go back to the avatar again and scroll down, you'll see these boards here, which are powered by this brilliant app called Canny. So canny.io if you want to check it out. So we've built their product into StratUp, and this connects all of our end users directly with us on the product team. So you can come in here and say, hey, this is what I'm loving about the app, suggest features, give us ideas for the future roadmap, ask a question. So it's not a support ticket, you're just not sure how something works, just come in here and then report a bug. And then we also show you report a bug. I shouldn't gloss over it. So something that's niggling and just annoying you, you can put it there. If it's a major thing, of course, raise a support ticket and we'll be straight onto it to help you out. We also share our change log, so you can see all of the changes we've been making on fixing, improving, or new features coming into the app. And if I click on here, for example, it takes you straight into Canny. And as you go to add your own content, so if you have here, say, you want to do something around adding a member, it'll look for similar posts, and you can see what other folks have already written, and you can vote up their response. And if this is the answer, you could actually click on it, and you'll be able to go straight in here and see the response. And whilst you're here, you can, rather than go back to the app, you can actually then jump across to the other boards also, and including to our roadmap or the changelog. So if we go here, you'll see this is what we just released last 2 weeks ago, and then there's another release coming out on the 14th of October. So you can go through the new, improved, and you got the whole history. So there you go. So that's a great way to connect every person who's using StratApp, not just the leaders of the client's business. Every single person can come in here, make suggestions and share feedback, and it gives us that connection directly to the end client. Okay, so that's the end of this session. So hopefully you're super motivated, whether you're a leader in the company, the business owner, middle management, team leader, or frontline staff. You can now see where you can contribute. You can see what folks are working on, and you should have context to your own work, and you can volunteer and help out and just assume positive intent and really help everyone move quickly in the same direction for the benefit of the company. So look forward to hearing your journey on that, and just don't hold back, right? Just dive straight in and get off email and just direct the work into this space, and just pause and put the conversations where they belong. Just take that moment to do that. Don't be lazy and send an email, and don't be lazy and just jump on a chat channel. Put the work where it belongs, ask the questions where they belong, and in the end, everyone will move faster. And you need to lead by example for that to take place, I think, at all levels in the company. Okay, good luck. And the next session is going to be diving deeper on the cards. So we're going to teach you one card. We'll go back to the meeting note card, I think, and then we'll go through each thing on a card, because once you understand one card, you understand them all. So this is what we call a card. So, once you understand one card, they're all the same in StratApp, just slight changes in navigation and features. But all of this, once you get your head around that, you'll be able to drive the whole app. So the next session is going to be on that. Learn one, know them all. I'll see you on that.